What is? All right, we're good to go.
Don't do drugs.
Don't. Yeah. Well,
that's the message.
That's what happens. Welcome, welcome everybody. Rob Rapashi here at NoBs Photo Success. Our weekly, somewhat weekly, sometimes bi-weekly TV show. So
daily, monthly. We put it together whenever we say, hey, you know what? Rob misses me and he wants to see me, so it's time for another episode.
We have a couple things we want to talk about. We have really no agenda. We're not going to talk about mining photography.
Yep.
Ow!
We're going to talk about Inferno, because that's,
Inferno.
That's in like 3 days.
3 days from now, Inferno. We're pumped about the Inferno workshop, along with photographyschoolhouse.com. And James has gone.
I need a moment.
James has gone off the deep end, and yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing everybody there, all the members, right?
Yeah, freaking Inferno's fun, man. What do we say? It's like a summer camp on drugs.
Yeah.
And it's a drunkering of information.
Drunkering of information. Sounds good.
I like that. Drunkering.
Sounds sort of medieval. Yeah. The drunkering.
Yeah. You find I learn the most outside the Inferno when you're just hanging out. We talk about this a lot, right? You're just hanging around with other people, other photographers, and you just, they're breaking out the iPhones and the Droids, and check this stuff out, and then you just start talking. That's when you get your most, some of the best information possible. So,
especially when you're sharing your information that you know with others.
Yes. Do you want me to get the keys? Do you want me to go? Or is this how it's going to be the whole this whole episode?
That's an inside joke. All right, so yeah, InfernoWorkshop.com. If you're interested, there's still a bit of time, a bit of room, and you will not regret it. And if you can't make it,
money guaranteed. Guaranteed you'll get your money's worth.
Guaranteed. There's going to be another one, hopefully 6 months down the road. We'll keep you posted. So if there's one workshop,
in Fiji, right? 6 months in Fiji, right?
No, Costa Rica.
I think we confirmed the dates on that, Fiji.
We want to
cost $4,000.
If you can't make this one or next, it'll be on the radar. Just consider it at some point in time. There's a contingency of people who are making it their annual or every 6-month event that they must attend, and for reasons that we just mentioned, and because it's such a
like another photographer said, it's the only time he sees his friends once a year.
Anyways, I want to talk about one project. James is going to talk about some prints, and this is a work in progress. Check it out.
Yeah, it sure is a work in progress.
This is 21 couples. Each one of these couples has been through the local midwifery clinic, where I have a print display and where I'm doing affiliation marketing. You can kind of see that. See? So it's a composite. See, what I've been working with these guys for about 5 years, and they're a perfect. I think they're an ideal affiliation marketing promotion, because I'm after babies, newborns. I'm after maternity shots, family portraits. So anyways, they had another photographer years ago who had done a group shot back in the film days. And so I pitched this to him. I said, well, why don't we get all your clients to come through my studio at their convenience on their own schedule, and I'll create this composite. Instead of having everybody come on one day, which is, they told me it was really challenging to try and get everybody organized. So I said, well, we'll take that challenge away. You don't have to organize it. We'll just send out this letter, and I wrote the letter, of course. Don't get them to do the letter. Chances are they won't do it, and if they do it, they won't do a good job. So I wrote the letter.
This guy just didn't read the letter and showed up. The
letter said, wear white.
The only guy there that shows up.
Mr. Plaid. Not only that, he's got a tool belt. You can't see it. But anyways, the idea is, of course, I tell them, I say, babies from the previous year, so in this case 2011, I tell them to come in at around 6 months. I do that on purpose, because I want expressions, and I want to get potentially some extra shots of the baby. Now, we gave everybody who came through a gift certificate that came from the midwifery clinic.
But it's for you.
It came from the midwifery clinic. I created the certificate. I had it printed up at 5000cards.com, 5000cards.com. We are not getting paid any money for that plug, but they are an awesome printing company.
I have another one.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there another day. Anyways, nice cards, beautiful sample on it, free family portrait session at an 8x10. And so when they came in, I give them that so you can use it up anytime next year. So what I'm doing, it's a lead generation too. Highly, highly, highly qualified, because people who go to a midwife, to me, are a little more qualified than people who are just not going to a midwife because they're just going through that extra activity, and there's a different demographic there, so they're much more qualified in that respect. So it's an awesome, awesome tool for me. So this is a work in progress. We whipped this up. We still got 10 more families that we got to add in there. We might go wider, longer, deeper, I'm not sure. And it looks like one big happy family. So I just wanted to share that with you. You might have heard me talking about the midwifery clinic before and working with the midwives. And that's where we're at with that. So
let's go.
So you see I put the logo in there and the year. So I'm going to bring this to them and kind of get their approval before.
So they haven't seen it yet?
No.
Cool.
I printed this up as a sample to bring to the midwives and ask them their opinion, see if they want to change anything. So what do you think?
So even though you're going an extra mile, you're doing this all free.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're getting a gift certificate for a family, that's going to bring money into it, right?
I'll point something out. This isn't free. This is my advertising budget.
There you go.
Okay, everybody should have an advertising budget. Some people use a very dry formula, 10% of your income. Like, well, what does that mean? There's no strategy behind that. It sounds good. So they look at their gross, they go 10%, let's go spend it. There's no real thought behind how they spend it. They may spend it on
radio.
Yeah, radio, TV, print ads. And you know, they'll get a boring image ad which goes nowhere, and then a couple of years down the road they say, yeah, we tried newspaper ads, they don't work. That's because there was no real meat and potatoes behind their promotion. There was no teeth. This, to me, is the kind of marketing I like to do. It's very direct, following the 3 rules of marketing: market, message, media, match. Okay, so the market, obviously, the market is a perfect targeted match. The media, or sorry, the message is ultimately we're pitching them a free session. We're pitching them involvement in this group activity. They are very excited about it. Okay, try and put that in a general image ad in a local newspaper ad or TV or something. It's going to be a total waste of money because it's going to be very expensive.
I know them. There's my fishing buddy.
That's him.
That's my fishing buddy.
So
I've recommended them to you, know that.
Yes, if you know James and you know fishing. But anyway, so yeah, that's my advertising budget. So, you know, if my wife complains you're giving them free stuff, no, that's our marketing costs for our advertising budget.
It's a good way to do it.
It's part of doing business.
Can that work with buying a new camera? Part of the marketing advertising budget?
Yeah,
right.
well, yeah, working the new camera.
Here we go.
Well, my camera thing is with my wife, which I'm going to be facing very, very soon because the D800 is going to be entering through the gates very, very soon. As soon as they get me one.
To the gates of hell.
And my thing that I'm going to tell my wife is, it's a tool. It's an essential tool of the trade. It's what I use to make money. All right, what do you got?
Well, you told me, you said let's talk about prints.
Prints,
So
we're
I
talking
brought it
about
to us
prints.
because we're having a webinar coming up on
NoBs Photo Success.
print critique, right?
We're going to have a monthly webinar. This is exciting.
And
all on print critiques.
I like the way you talked about it in the car over here. So I think we're going to do it not as a print critique for competition. Okay, like if you're renting like somewhat for like, you know, WPPI, but more in the line of, you know, if it's an art piece, if the client would hang it on the wall, because you know, really that's where the money is, right? It's with your client. They are the judges. Ultimately, the judges are your clients, right? So, you know,
let me say something about that.
Sure, you say something about
this. Doesn't sound, so don't take it the wrong way. This is not like one set of criteria and another set of criteria and the two don't mix. There's a big, big crossover. So we got one criteria, which is your traditional print competition, which is very similar to any other industry, you know, dog, horse shows, contests. They have these weird, obscure ideas, which are not often based in reality. However, a lot of the rules, composition, lighting, impact, are very, very potent and apply in the real world where you're selling prints. All we want to do is be able to bring in that extra element, that extra viewpoint, that is that when you're looking at a print, when we judge a print, we're going to use a heavy perspective on that criteria based on would the client want it, would the mom, would the dad, the mom and dad, with the family, with the, this in this case would be mining client, would they hang it on their walls? Would they use it to a large degree and be very, very strongly attached to it?
You know what else is, you know, if we're going to talk about print and even print competition, I will say entering print competition does make you a better photographer.
Yes.
Because you start, once you start kind of, I don't want to say learning the rules of photography, but when you start kind of learning the, you know, composition, lighting, exposure, rule of thirds and stuff like that, it actually does make you become a better photographer, because when you're actually shooting for your clients, you're going to keep all those things in mind. Okay, is my client placed in the right spot in the frame? Is the lighting right? Does this image have impact? Even before you shoot the image, you kind of go through all those things in your head before you actually slap the shutter. So, you know, we used to say, you know, we shoot for competition, right? Well, I shoot for competition every photo I take now, because ultimately I'm trying to give my client the best photo possible. You know, what are some of the things we look for when...
You're an award winner.
You know, I am an award winner. Yeah, I like that, eh? Once you know, for us Canadians, once you enter a print competition like WPPI and you get an award, I am now an international award winning, which really means all I did was enter a competition in another country. So it really doesn't have a lot of impact. I see it all the time. Eh? I am a 15-time international award winner photographer. Ooh.
I didn't know Las Vegas was in another country.
Well, yeah, in Canada.
I thought it was in a different dimension.
So what are some of the things we look for in our print critique? Now these are print competitions, but yeah, impact ultimately. As soon as you look at an image,
Get that sucker up there too.
as soon as you look at an image, you know, we want to see impact. We want to be able to go, wow, like, ooh, here's this was I shot this. This is the Black Pearl before it got. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? This is the Black Pearl before it got commissioned to be on Pirates of the Caribbean. Directors actually saw this image in my print competition and wanted to know where it was, and they actually hired that ship to be on. So actually, Pirates of the Caribbean is because of me.
Okay, enough. Let's talk about that image.
Okay.
Let's talk about composition real quick.
Composition. Okay, so
look at that image. What's working on it? Here, I'll hold it up.
Well, let's just say this ship. This is an old image. Let's just say the ship was in the middle. The first thing I always hate is when subjects are smack dab into the middle of the frame. You used to give me crap all the time when I started working for them, because I'd always put them smack dab in the middle.
Well, sometimes it works.
Sometimes,
but most of the time it doesn't.
But what works here is
it's middle here.
Here's what I say. My cousin John told me this, and this is just my opinion, but I always go by it. You look at an image like you read a book from left to right. Okay, so I always start at the left side. I work my way across. So I tend to try to put my subject matter on the right side, lower third, and if I'm going to have any negative space, I always try to have it on the left side and to the right.
That's a composition thing.
That's a composition thing. You know, another thing to look at when you're doing portraits, family portraits, any portraits, try to have a main subject. Okay, you don't want something busy where you want to know what the main subject. Obviously, main subject, ship. Main subject, person. Main subject, person. Main subject. Oh, I get that one. Main subject, who knows?
Let's talk about this one.
The main subject is the guy in the blue plaid, because he stands out the most, okay? I'm just saying, nothing wrong with this. This is just what we look for when we're looking for art pieces on the wall.
Let's talk about the composition on this one.
Composition on the wall. Okay.
On the wall. Composition on the wall.
Now that one, I would have liked to put him a little bit over. Problem was, I couldn't, because I'm in a cave, right? It's Batman's cave.
Yeah, but this works.
You know why it works? Leading lines, that's another thing, right?
I was hoping he was going to say that.
I was going to say, look at here, leading lines. I don't know if you can see this on this one, but I actually have light rays, Jesus rays coming down, leading lines. I've got leading lines into my subject.
Those rays were there when you shot it. You didn't add them later.
No, I did not.
No, they were there.
Now, this one here, actually, to tell you the truth,
he has mystical qualities.
This is actually flipped 180 degrees. I actually shot this the other way.
You can't do that.
But the problem is, I got these leading lines coming in here.
The writing's upside down.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You know what?
Take that off, you cheater.
I never noticed that.
You never noticed that? The writing's upside down.
I never noticed that.
There's a logo brandy thing on the miner's gloves.
So
hold on. Canon 20D. No wonder it's so
Oh yeah, that's Canon 20D I shot.
17 to 40 f4
I forgot
lens.
it says what I shot these with. This was with this was the 5D. And this old one here, that was a 5D. Anyways, but
have you ever entered prints?
Camera really makes nothing. I mean, we entered prints from a Canon D30. What's the first Canon?
Have you ever entered prints with a point and shoot?
Yeah, all the time.
Which was the first one? The 70.
Canon A75 point.
Remember the doorknob?
You know what? We should show that somewhere. Anyways,
picture of a doorknob.
So this is what we're gonna be discussing things like this in our webinar on. And again, these are print competition prints. We're looking more for you know, what the client would put on their walls, what they'd be happy with, and we're going to talk about things like that. So that's kind of the tech tip and stuff like that. If you're going to the Inferno, we're going to be talking all about shooting, families, babies, portraits. Yeah, it's a drunkering of information, but we're going to be talking all about that. So
every night we're going to have an AA meeting before he gets into the bar.
I don't drink at these events. Actually, I won't be drinking Thursday night because I present first thing Friday morning. So, but after that, it's no hold bars. Well, you need to drink to understand him. It's funny because once you start drinking, and the more drunk you get, the more clear his vocabulary becomes.
Mike's from the UK.
He's from Australia.
He's going on.
Mike's from Australia.
He's got a funny accent. So
okay, so
we're out of here, right?
Yeah, that's it because we got to get packing because we're leaving like.
I have my awards. I feel special.
Yeah.
You can always tell.
Any questions at all?
Yeah, you can always
Anyone?
tell.
Any questions at the back there? Got a question?
You can tell a good photographer by how many awards they have.
Well, that's it, right? The more awards you have, the better photography you are, obviously.
Yeah. So see you guys at the Inferno. Good to go?
Oh, howdy friends, Preacher here. You know friends, I wanted to talk to you today about photography. That's right, successful photography is not an accident. It's not something that just happens to you one day when you wake up in glory and you go, hallelujah, I have success, finally, in my photography endeavors. No friends, it's not an accident. Now if you want no BS photo success, you've come to the right place for salvation from bad images and exposed digital files that were exposed improperly. Oh friends, redeem your evil ways, and learn to see the light. Get great images and deliver your clients, the very best in portrait photography. Friends, step up to the altar of success. Success and digital photography. You can do it today with no BS photo success. Oh friends, we care about you so much down here at the church. We love you friends. Amen.